Alright, everyone, welcome back to another stream. This is Tactical Itch here, and oh shit, I forgot to turn off the. Yep, there we go. Never mind. Yeah, it's Friday night somewhere for sure, Mech Right Face. But yeah, this is Tactical Itch here, and we're back for another replay stream for CoolUmbrella's Friday Night Fights. So we'll be starting with, well, I didn't really put any of these replays in order. I just kind of downloaded them and chucked them into the replay folder. So here we have a bunch of replays. I know which ones are finals, but the rest is just gonna be cast in a random order. The first battle we have is Strat Games versus Saber's Magnum, a nightclub. Night shift club. Yeah, night shift club. Night shift club. Civil War here, as both Strat Games and Saber's Magnum should be part of the Night Shift Club. The Night Shift, yeah. Wait, what stands for C? Like, it's, I know Night Shift, like the Discord name of Cool Umbrella. Okay, this is basically a clan established by Cool Umbrella. I'm pretty sure everyone knows here, but anyways, why is it Night C? Why is it NC? Like, Night Shift should be NS, no? Anyways, okay, we are welcomed by a Bretonian box here from Strat Games, going for a Spearman at Arms with shields in front and a whole bunch of men at arms with pole arms at the back, and also a single unit of Grail Knights. In tournaments, they are limited to one only, as they are all counted as super weapons. And then there's also the Knights of Lionhearted with their magic attacks and anti-large. Yep. Now in the sky, oh wait, there's also the Companions of Canal with their armor-piercing anti-large, should do pretty well against Ogre Cavalry, if there is one. In the skies we have Albrecht de Bordelou leading the army and a whole lot of peasant bows on the front line. Using their range advantage, they will be showering the Ogre Bulls. Not sure if this is the greatest choice here. I guess the Nobler Trappers can be dealt with by just throwing spears at them. But okay, right now the archers are switching their targets onto the Nobler Trappers, doing some pretty nasty damage on the first volley. While at the back there, the Grail Knights have taken quite a bit of noticeable damage from that one Iron Blaster at the back here. Nobblers in the front, Ogre Bulls at the back, overloading the peasant front line here. And then the Man-Eater, wait no, these are Iron Guts, are charging in to slap those Grail Knights with a counter charge. But the Ogre Bulls and Nobblers are faltering from the turret of Archer Fire. All these focus fire are doing heavy damage onto the Ogre's units. And at the back there, Men-at-Arms with polearms are moving forward because some of the Saber Tusk pack, seeing the peasants are faltering in the front line, will be sneaking onto the back line, trying to dish out some pain against the peasant bows. Grail Knights will be receiving a massive regrowth, but I'm not sure how much good is it gonna do to them, because they have lost one. Yep, it's literally not doing anything now, because they have heal capped all their unit models at max HP, because all their unit models losses were coming from the Iron Blaster volley gun, knocking out unit models and preventing the healing from taking any effect. The front line of the peasants are in shambles, but then the back line men-at-arms are being thrown into the fray. The reserve troops are holding the line right now because the first line of spears have all been dealt with. Iron Blasters continue to fire, chipping away the unit models on the Grail Knights, but whatever the Grail Knights are fighting are not standing long in front of them. Iron Guts, Nobblers, Saber Tusk all are taking heavy damage as soon as they start engaging Grail Knights. Men-at-Arms with polearms using their anti-large advantage are slowly but surely whittling down the Ogre Bulls. Peasant Bulls are largely online. Most of them pretty much untouched, with so many peasant bodies holding the line, preventing any flanking or line breaching from being carried out by the Ogre Kingdoms here. Knights of Lionhearted and Companions of Canal have been doing a splendid job in holding the line, beating back all those Ogres with their cavalry mass, preventing the Ogre Iron Guts and whatnot from forcing their way through the enemy front line. Now there are still quite a few Ogre Iron Guts on the far side there, fighting Albrecht de Bordelou, but with that Braid of Bordelou? Yeah, Braid of Bordelou providing that additional anti-large bonus against the Ogre Kingdoms. The Iron Guts are not having the greatest trait right here, especially with Companions Grail Knights are psycho-charging these Iron Guts again and again, doing massive impact damage with every single charge. Ogre Bulls also are taking massive damage from the Peasant Archer crossfire, while the Nobbler, with their lack of leadership, are slowly faltering. At the back here, the Knights of Lionhearted managed to get on top of the Iron Blasters, and with their anti-large bonus should do some good damage, but most importantly just silencing the Ogre Artillery piece. But that does open them up to a rear charge from the Saber Tusk pack, and they will be taking some noticeable charge impact damage. And at this point, things are going decisively in the favor of Bretonnia right now. Not because of Grail Knights being OP, well, partly because of that perhaps, but because all the peasants, the box was able to hold back the ogre's advance, and without shutting down the peasant bows, the ogres are just prime target from being shot up from afar. Being large targets, they do have a bigger hitbox and easier to absorb missile damage, especially the ogre bulls doesn't have the greatest armor, but these are Iron Guts mostly, but when surrounded by anti-large armor piercing polearms, yeah, they're not gonna hold on for long. Yeah, and at this point we can pretty much say it is probably the win of the Bretonnians here, as two of their cavalry are still online, and there's still so many men at arms, which the ogre kingdoms cannot really work them all down right now. What can they do other than try to shoot them up with the Iron Blasters? Perhaps they can. Oh, it seems that the Iron Blasters are indeed doing quite a bit of work against the peasant bowmen, but at this point, archers are firing from afar. At this one remaining pocket of resistance, the blobbed up ogre units are taking massive damage from all these torrent of archer fire. Any isolated units are picked apart by the Grail Knights and the remaining companions of Canal. Yeah, the Knights of Lionhearted are pretty much done for. A Troll Guts is dropped onto the Iron Guts, but that's not gonna save them at all, as the backline there, the Iron Blaster volley gun is silenced by the what are these Knights? Grail Knights, yeah, and that should be the end of the first battle, with Strat Games advancing towards the next stage, whatever stage they are in for this battle. Now for the army performances, we can see that Companions and Grail Knights did splendidly with their anti-large and armor piercing. Knights of the Lionhearted not so much, because if they can do well against Ogre Bulls, but if they're fighting Iron Guts, the Iron Guts can actually trade evenly against them due to their heavy armor and the lack of armor piercing on the Knights of Lionhearted, while the Iron Guts do have armor piercing to punch through the armor of the Bretonnian Knights. Albrecht the Bordeloo doesn't really have that great of an engagement in here, being surrounded by Iron Guts, taking quite a bit of damage, but mostly just there to support the Bretonnian army, providing that extra anti-large. The peasants did an okay job overall, doing some pretty nice damage, chipping down the Ogre Kingdom's health, and eventually wear them down through sheer weight of numbers. On the other side, Ogre Kingdom's Iron Guts underperformed here for sure, being outtraded by most of the Bretonnian cavalry. Ogre Bulls definitely perhaps not the greatest pick here. I would say Nobbler Trappers is still good. But I did receive build ideas from CoolUmbrella. I think just going for a rather different approach and just not taking Iron Blasters at all. Anyways, for the rest of the army here, we can see that one thing, I wouldn't bring Saber Tusk into this matchup. Like, normally Saber Tusks are great, but they just don't trade well into Bretonnian cavalry, even against Knights Errant if they got charged. So yeah, I wouldn't be taking them. Anyways, next battle, and let's just have, while we load, this next battle, Strat Games versus Central Scrutinizer, another very tough opponent. And let's see. Okay, cool. The Night Crew. Okay, the Night Crew, okay. New Clan Night Crew. NC stands for Night Crew. Yeah, right. That's it. That's Night Crew. Well, to be honest, the first name of the clan, the proposed name of the clan, was too memorable, and I legit don't remember the other name. It should have been the first name, CoolUmbrella, if you're listening to me. It should have been the first name. I don't know why, but yeah, it should have been it. It should have been Quake. Anyways, you're not bad. Let us go into the next battle this time between... Wait, this is CoolUmbrella versus Saber's Regnum, right? Oh, I know. Strike Games versus Central Scrutinizer. Strike Games going for a green skin build. Central Scrutinizer being his Empire main, going for Empire with Balthasar. Welcome to Astalia Gelt. For the green skin front line, horde of goblins mixed in with squig herds. One of the most popular form of green skin front line these days. Cheap goblins combined with the squig herds with goblins taking hits and squig herds doing the damage, anti-infantry armor piercing, very cost effective. And then at the back there we have the Orc Air Boys providing some nice solid firepower, especially with their decent AP value at 6 AP per shot. Yeah, for the rest of the army here, we have some Broken Tusk mobs, Forest Goblin, Spider Riders, Stone Trolls, a very good choice against the Empire Armored Cavalry, more stone, the Swamp Things, something that Strike Games definitely took a liking of in the recent meta. We have Orc Warboy Biggins and also more Forest Goblin, Spider Riders on the left flank. The Dirkis Squigs are also hiding away. Wait, no, not really hiding. Standing by at the back there. Probably forgotten. And in the skies we have Azak the Slaughter flying around. Now for the Empire, we have the Black Lions already unloading into the Orc Air Boys doing some nasty damage. And then a horde, well, not a horde, but definitely a sheer amount of state troops. Front line of spears backed up by 4 great swords, really trying to outtrade the green skins in the melee side. And then at the back, 4 halberdiers going for the man-tide, well, 5 halberdiers. And in the skies we have Balthasar Gelt. Now the Black Lions, seeing that the green skins are still slowly approaching, are trying to do some poke damage against both Azak and the Orc Air Boy, but the Azak will not be standing idle and just taking shots. Instead, he'll be dropping in a Spirit Leech, chipping away the health of the Black Lions, while the Greenskin army continue to wrap around. Now, the Empire seems to be utilizing this little cottage here just to block off the Greenskins from the left flank, securing that side while investing a little bit more attention onto the right flank with a Warrior Priest holding the line on the right. Spears will be receiving a charge from the squig herds and goblins, and they will be taking some minuscule, okay, some decent impact damage, but a Brain Burster will be changing things quick. No, not Brain Burster. I guess there was a bombardment spell earlier, but anyways, the spears are taking damage while the Black Lions are taking some pretty significant hurt from all those Orc Air Boys here. They only have 90 armor, so not the greatest armor value. Yes, they're still heavy armor, but they do have a large hitbox, so a lot of those shots from the Orc Air Boys are actually hitting despite their lack of accuracy. Now in the front line, their Final Transmutation upgraded version, not sure why. Oh, hitting both the Orc Air Boys and some of the units in the front. Squig herds and the gobbles are getting hit. And then with the great swords engaging in the front line, the Empire are not having the worst engagement in front, but then with the first gobbles and the Orc Air Boys sneaking into the back line here, Scrutinizer definitely had a slip in micro right there, and that spear unit is completely shredded. Now on the right flank with the Warrior Priest holding the line alongside his spears, Central Scrutinizer is holding a little bit better with a Soulfire Bombardment as well, but the box is not quite holding right now with a lot of gaps in all these formations right now. Goblins moving in, but it's not the worst thing over a loss of missiles, since there's literally no missiles other than the Black Lions, and the Black Lions are pretty self-sufficient. They can scoot and shoot. But yeah, a lot of spears are getting heavily blobbed up right now and are not having the greatest time doing damage or anything. A little bit slow here from Scrutinizer in terms of reacting with his infantry for sure. Now with the Empire formations in a bit of a disarray, the Greenskin mobility advantage can be maximized. Now just leaping across the battlefield, jumping onto any engagements that they deem favorable. Over here, the Greenskin cavalry infantry monsters are trying to overwhelm the great swords and should be able to do so. While Gelt will be dropping another Final Transmutation, this time onto Azak himself. It temporarily covered some of these squig herds, but after Azag with his 110 speed move out of the way. The spell, despite an overcast and very devastating damage, only really affected Azag himself and not really anything else. Might be a little bit better. Perhaps it would be better just to cast on blobs and whatnot, just to do a little bit more damage onto the greenskin army in general. But alas, now Gelt is taking damage from Spirit Leech. Probably the best target of the spell, really, after the Black Lions are dealt with now. Gelt does not have any healing, and Spirit Leech is a very cheap spell, and the more you spam it, the more magic you get from the life leeching ability. So yeah, things are looking tough for Gelt right now because there are still so many Spirit Leech from the back pocket, and Balthazar Gelt will be eventually drained to death. He's literally living on a countdown right now. So far, Bombardment here further damaging some of these squig herds, but the Warrior Priest is slowly getting worked down by the armor-piercing trolls, especially the Swamp Things here providing that nice -6 melee attack, which limits the damage output from all these halberdiers and the Warrior Priest himself. Gelt continuously getting hit by the Spirit Leech. He probably should have, I don't know, personally I would just bring Gelt and also bring Searing Doom as like a spell that I always bring. It's just such a cost-efficient spell to deal with cavalry and infantry blobs, even sometimes monsters as well. It just does good damage overall, and should definitely be brought, like, if you want to kill anything other than single entities. So yeah, probably a mistake here not bringing Searing Doom and investing so much onto Empire Swords, the Great Swords specifically. However, the Great Swords are trying to make their money's worth here, not quite doing so, only fighting cheap greenskin chaff so far, and getting psycho charged by monsters, broken Tunsmoths, and whatnot. Another Spirit Leech and Balthazar Gelt is getting even lower in terms of HP, and he is literally living on it. Yeah. His life is counting down, and he's not long for this world for sure. And yeah, Halberdiers are still trying to grind out the greenskin blob, but like, things are not looking great for the Empire. Another final transmutation, dropping on top of Azag the Slaughter, hitting himself and some of these squigs who walked into the spellcast. Azag will be quickly moving away, and the squigs will be surviving for just enough to go for a charge here, shredding some Empire infantry before they go. Now, on the side there, Great Swords pockets are being overwhelmed by the sheer amount of greenskins. The Green Tide is unstoppable right now. There's not a lot of Wa so far. Balthazar Gelt trying to fight Azag, and he's doing some hurt onto Azag for sure. But Azag with his art armor is holding him quite well in his battle right now, and Gelt does not want to tangle with him. Another Spirit Leech and Gelt is not looking too hot. Down to less than 1,500 HP. He has to stay away from Azag. One hit and he will be routing. Maybe a few more hits, but like, he's trying to dodge? Yeah, he tries to dive down, but Azag dives down as well, and another hit will probably come in, will take another bit of HP away. No, Azag is missing, and somehow Balthazar Gelt is making him pay for his transgression. Routing of Azag the Slaughter with the help of some Empire Halberdiers, but balance of power is still overwhelmingly in favor of the greenskins, especially with the stone trolls that they're regenerating at the back. Swamp Thing still pretty much full health, almost full health, definitely full models, and continues to regenerate, now jumping into combat and beating down whatever state troops they can lay their hands on. Finally taking some damage at the hands of the Halberdiers, but at this point, wait, what? The balance of power shifted slightly back towards the favor of the Empire right now, with Gelt routing of Azag. What the hell? Gelt is the man, the myth, the legend. Can he escort Azag off the field? This might be a huge boon for the Empire. With the Warrior Priest still holding the line, using his Leadership Aura to boost Leadership Aura and the Shield of Faith to boost the tankiness of all these Halberdiers, and Great Swords keeping this pocket of Empire holding. Now, I don't think Balthazar can kill Azag, but even just getting him off the field would still be doing quite a bit of work against the greenskins right now. The question is, can the Empire hold? Azag is so close to going off the map now, and but the Halberdiers are not holding. They're struggling to do damage against the Swamp Things, who is enjoying the -6 melee attack. And the Orc Air Boys are really showing their worth here, shooting into whatever units they can find now, chipping away the health of the Great Swords with their missile attacks, while the Halberdiers and the Great Swords are swarming these Orc Air Boys' position. The Swamp Things will be jumping in from behind, and will be doing some nice impact damage, routing off the Halberdiers with their terror. A very nice, reliable source of terror, really. They themselves do terror, so they cannot be terror routed. A very nice trait for a troll unit, really. And now all these state troops who still have some gas left in them was forced to fight in wavering leadership and being broken off, perhaps. But anyways, the Swamp Things have taken no model losses so far. Great Swords are trying to chase the Orc Air Boys, and Halberdiers are trying to tie down the Swamp Things. And things are still anyone's game right now, though looking slightly greenskin favored, because the leadership of the Empire units are not quite holding without anything to resist the terror from the Swamp Things, and the Broken Tusk mobs still have quite a bit of gas left. Good enough to do some significant impact damage on the charge. So far, bombardment is dropped in, but only doing very minimal damage as the Broken Tusk mob were able to move out of the way. Also, the Shield of Faith is once again activated, trying to keep those Halberdiers in the fight a little longer, while the Stone Trolls right now being psycho charged at the back from by Balthasar Gelt. Their leadership is wavering, but not quite routing just yet. They will be pulled out of combat and perhaps just trying to recover a little bit more HP before they get thrown into battle once more. Can they survive and hold with their leadership in battle? It looks like it's a big nope there, as they are routing for possibly a third time and shattering. Now this all comes down to the Swamp Things. Balance of Fire is slowly crawled back to the middle here, with Balthasar Gelt still surviving in the skies. And Halberdiers are slowly grinding down the Swamp Things. The Swamp Things still have 15 models left. They might just be able to get to their heal cap. The Warrior Priest is no slouch in combat, though. -9 attack still means that they have 39... Wait, -6 melee attack means that they should still have 36 melee attack and should still stand a reasonable, not great, but reasonable chance to beat down the Swamp Things. Anyways, the Orc Air Boys will be shooting at the remaining state troops from afar. Their high missile strength really comes into play here, and chipping away the health of all these Empire troops. The Swamp Things engaging the Halberdiers, psycho-charging them, forcing them to turn back and fight, buying more time for the Orc Air Boys to continue to shoot. And these Halberds are not holding right now. Terrified by the presence of the Swamp Things, they are plowed to their death. Now, the Broken Tusk mob taking some damage throughout engagements and whatnot, but they will be returning. Swamp Things will be engaging the Great Swords, forcing them to turn and fight now, giving the perfect opportunity for the Broken Tusk mobs to charge in. So far, bombardment dropping in, doing some very minor chip damage, not the greatest spell against cavalries after all. Now the Great Swords are being chased off by the Swamp Things, while Balthasar Gelt here, trying to do a sneaky charge on the Orc Air Boys, is swarmed by the Broken Tusk mob, and this might be the end of the Empire, as one of the Warrior Priest is now low on health. The other one still fighting almost full health, but being surrounded by Broken Tusk mob, Psycho Charge, and then being shot by Orc Air Boys and whatnot. Yeah, this is looking rough, and Central Scrutinizer will be throwing in the towel. Now for the army performances here, Azak somehow got beaten by Gelt, proving Gelt really is the man, the myth, the legend, most powerful lord of the Empire. But still, the Spirit Leeches have been doing well, dealing with the Black Lions and Gelt himself. The Swamp Things, not the greatest damage, but I guess the Terror did come in very clutch in the late game here, routing off a lot of those, a lot of those state troops, whose leadership probably would have held on a little longer, but the Terror just forced them out, and then the remaining Greenskin units chased them down. The rest of the Greenskin army Broken Tusk mob did well. The Dirkiswigs did some pretty good damage, but not the greatest value either ways. And Stone Trolls did meh. It's not the worst, but also not the greatest. And then we have the Orc Air Boys. One of them did really well, probably shooting a lot of those. Yeah, probably the one shooting at the Black Lions the most. And then we have the rest of the army here. 800 gold on a Squig Herd. That costs 300 gold. Damn, this is good. They're really good now, to be fair. But yeah, Squigs, very, very cost efficient. And then the goblins also earn back their value out here, actually. They don't cost much, like, what, 200 gold? 250? But yeah, with the support of the Squig Herds and then the Swamp Thing's terrifying state troops, they were able to just backstab a bunch of Empire troops to death. And then we have Balthasar Gelt. The final transmutations were great, very cost-efficient damage, but I did hope to see more Searing Doom. So far, Bombardment did very minuscule damage from the Warrior Priest here. They're mostly there to provide buff. Hammer of Sigmar, Shield of Faith, that sort. But I do think that, well, Strike Games did a really good job in dodging those so far Bombardment here. More than once we saw him charging in with the Broken Tusk mob, but then he just pulled them out before the so far hit. So very minimal damage from the Bombardment. Black Lions did okay, but they cost like 1,900 gold, so definitely not paying for themselves from all the Spirit Leech and Orc Air boys. Great Swords, not the greatest pick here because of, Squig Herds. Armor piercing, anti-infantry, and they are large models, so the anti-infantry bonus from the Great Swords doesn't work against them. And then we have the Halberdiers. One of them did great, probably dragged down a bunch of HP from Swamp Things and Stone Trolls. Well, actually, 4 of them did great. Like, they cost 550 gold, so all 4 of them did really great, one of them not so much, but the other 4 of them were the main staying power to deal with all those Squig Herds and the Trolls. Spears, unfortunately, they were the fodder to absorb the charge, so they didn't really do too much here. Now that's the second battle, so now let us move on to the third battle. Tomb Kings versus Lizardmen. Strike Games versus Dr. Nerdgash. This time we have some... Ooh. Is this Hierophant Katab plus... Ooh, Katab. This is interesting. Probably Katab trying to use his Leech Staff to limit the healing from the Lizardmen. Just keep cock blocking the Wrath Crystal and the Lifespan from doing their job. And then we also have a Cameron Warsphinx providing some nice anti-infantry armor piercing and the Laser Eyes of the Desert. Sepulchral Stalker's Regiment of Renowned version. Now we slow down. What the hell is this? Strike Games must have been learning from Saber's Magnum, employing more and more sophisticated boxes. Anyways, army belts, front line of spears, second line of swords, skeleton warriors and spears, and then more skeleton warriors and the Kepler Guard at the back. 3 units of Tomb Gods with halberds to prevent any any rear charge and stuff. We have the Chosen of the Gods and Sepulchral Stalkers, Eyes of the Desert. DJ Katab is sitting in the middle of the entire box. I'm really liking this formation here. Looks really splendid. Anyways, on the other side, a simple line formation. Units stacked on top of units. Skin Cohorts with Javelins as the front line and the second line of Feral Cold Ones. And then at the back there, a Shredder of Lustria trying to heal away all the damage with the support of the Lifespan and a Bastillodon with the Wrath Crystal. Now, there is also the Regiment of Renowned Pale Death. It doesn't have any hiding, but I guess it does have the Primeval Roar, providing a little bit of melee attack buff to surrounding units. But I don't know how good is it gonna be. They're probably trying to grind through all those skeletons, but right now, DJ Katab is gonna cockblock them at some point with that spell casting. And yeah, right at the start, we have the Cascade of Souls already doing some massive damage onto the Skin Cohorts. The Shredder of Lustria shooting into any random units with the Blow Dart machine gun from their back. Now the Eyes of the Desert are moving forward, readying up their laser eyes. Or is it the laser fangs or something? I don't know. It looks like, okay, they're just spitting venom onto the Shredder of Lustria, and with the large hitbox of the Shredder, it's taking noticeable damage already, like 1k health gone. Anyways, the Cameron Warsphinx is jumping on top. Earthblood is attempted to heal back up some of his health. Ooh, the Chosen of the Gods firepower is joining in, and because of the large hitbox of the Shredder, normally the shatter shots from the Chosen of the Gods wouldn't do great damage to monsters, but because of the large hitbox of the Shredder, all those scattered shots actually hit their target. And it's, oh my god, and the Shredder's health is down to like half in the first couple minutes of battle. And that's like a minute of actual engagement. Now the Chosen of the Gods did get hit by the Pale Death, so they have taken some noticeable damage, but not a lot of unit losses. And the Shredder at the back is already down to a quarter of their health. No, one third of their health, being chased down by the Cambrian Warsphinx. There's nothing to stop the Cambrian from chasing it down, so that's a bye-bye Shredder. Without this large piece of monster holding the front line or just trying to distract their opponent's forces, the Lizardmen no longer have anything to break through the skeletons. Like, the skinks are stuck on there, and the furrowed Koans are trying to break through, but not quite having the stats to do so. While the Cambrian Warsphinx is just constantly chasing down the Shredder of Lustria. A Cold-Blooded is dropped onto him to try to keep him in the fight, but unfortunately the Cambrian Warsphinx is not letting go of the routing Shredder, and the Shredder will be escorted off the battlefield. Now, we did miss out a lot of engagement in the middle there, probably some banishment, but that is not really important here with the Shredder going off. And now the Eyes of Desert Chosen of the Gods are all able to just aim at the poor Slime Mage Priest of Life, who will be eating a faithful shot of venom. Yeah, those are not lasers, but like stick venom spitting onto the Slime Mage. And the Slime Mage will also be dead. Balance of power is already noticeably in the favor of the Tomb Kings right now, but honestly, I feel like the game is already ended by this point. Everything remaining on the Lizardman side cannot work through so many skeletons. Especially there's an untouched unit of Tomb Gods and multiple untouched unit of Tomb Gods. One of them is now moving in to deal with the Pale Fiend. And yeah. Shit. That is a very effective Tomb Kings build. Throw in the Eyes of Desert and Chosen of the Gods to shoot down any monsters, and then once the monsters rout, Cambrian Warsphinx will chase them down. That was very strong. Anyways, the rest of the army doesn't really matter here because most of the work has been done by the Eyes of Desert. Chosen of the Gods almost 3k worth of damage value, and then the Hierophant Katep also did DJ Katep doing some pretty neat damage and killing a lot of skinks, poor skinkies. And yeah, the rest of the skeletons are just there to hold the line, buying time for the missiles to shoot. Very nice formation geometry. And while Lizardman here, oof, pain. This is a pain on the Shredder here. Being routed all the way to the white line and only doing 400 gold worth of damage. And the rest of the army not doing much. Yeah, this hurts. Oof. Very nice build from Strat Games. Shredder was at the front line, not sure why it didn't just plow through. Even if it plowed through, there will be stuff to deal with it though. My right face. There's like 3 units of Halberd Tomb Gods stationing at the back line there. Like, Strat Games was ready to deal with the Shredder. Like, also the Sepulchral Stalkers and the Chosen of the Gods can simply just back off, seeing that the Lizardmen really didn't have the mobility to hunt down, to threaten all these Chosen and Eyes of Desert, having so many skeletons on the field. Like, yeah, there really wasn't much that the Shredder could have done there. Strat Games, I'd like to thank Sabres for that Tomb Kings build. Of course, that is a Sabres build. Of course. I knew it. Like, there are very few people who would go for such a sophisticated formation design. One of them, Sabres Regnum. I don't know if there's any other, but I've only seen Sabres putting that much thought into the design of a formation, how to place the units, having layers of nicely placed shape. That has to be a Sabres thing. Anyways, We have this time we have Saber's Magnum himself fighting the vampire counts. We have a line of torpedoes, Iron Drake torpedoes, 5 thunders as the second line. Wait, no, it's just, yeah, this is a very Saber's thing to do. Like, it's not just a simple square box. It's a, you know, it has to be a nice hexagon. It can't just be like a simple box. It has multiple different placement of very complex style of unit placements. Actually, yeah, everything like, okay, there's like a cross of thunders, a pentagon of Iron Drakes, and then also, of course, Thoric Ironbrow leading the army. There is no Hero Hammer here, so I do appreciate that. A front line of miners and 2 more miners with blasting charges in the skies. Multiple Vargeis, a very typical deployment of Vampire Count here. 4 of them, in fact. Probably just trying to drop on those Iron Drakes and Thunders doing some damage, but I feel like this might be a bit rough, given the design of Saber's formations. Is this 3 for 3 on boxes? This is definitely 3 for 3 on boxes. Anyways, a little bit of a nice Rune of Wrath and Ruin there, ruining some skeleton spears. Get it, huh? Anyways, Thunder is at the back here shooting, just opening up at whatever units they can find. Is this 3 for 3 from boxes? Amazing anti-lizards box, tamed and real quick. The thing is, the ironic thing is that every battle so far has involved, has somehow involved a bit of Saber's Magnum in one way or the other. Like, yeah. So it's not that surprising to see so many boxes so far. Anyways, Thunders opening up at the Blood Dragon Vampire Lord. Vargeis dropping down into the units at the back, but the thing is, there's nothing to silence so many missile units. How many are there? There are like 9. So there are only 4 Vargeis, and whatever that is not hit by the missiles will be able to continue. Not hit by the Vargeis, the missiles will continue to fire. Now you can see the Thunders. 3 Thunders are online. 1 Iron Drake is online. One of the Thunders got hit by a breath attack and got routed, but yeah, there's still 3 Thunders online. Iron Drakes are taking, actually there are 4 Thunders online. One of the Vargeis crumbled to dust and leaving another Iron Drake online. There's no zombies. The thing is, there's no zombies tying down the dwarves at the back here. So they're just free to fire. No chaff to, like, yeah, not bringing zombie summon is definitely a mistake on the Vampire Count side. I forgot to check who's playing the Vampire Counts here. But yeah, Saber's Magnum doing a nice job here, just cross-firing into anything that they can get their hands on, and with the multiple Thunders opening up onto the Vargeis are dead. The Blood Dragon Vampire Lord is still fighting alongside some support from the Crypt Horrors, but things are not looking too great so far. All the Vargeis are done for. Crypt Horrors are fighting, but there are still multiple units of Thunders and Iron Drakes online, now doing massive damage to the Crypt Horrors. Yeah, not having any zombies to tie down Thunders and Iron Drakes is a big mistake. Everything is trying their best to work down the Dwarf missiles, but there's just so many on them on the field. And yeah, the miners have been holding the line, keeping some of these zombies in check. Some of the skeleton spears were eventually able to push through, but at this point, the Crypt Horrors are dying one after the other. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord will be falling victim to the Iron Drakes and Thunders once the last Crypt Horror falls. And the Crypt Horrors doesn't really have the stats to quickly work down all these Thunders now, who are in a square formation. Of course, they're more vulnerable to breath attacks and whatnot, but there are only so many breath attacks available, and the thick formation means that they're more resistant to charges. So they actually held the line, and that basically allows the rest of the missile units to just shoot into anything that are not being tied down. They're not busy fighting. Shoot into anything that expose themselves to crossfire and overwatch fire, and that basically spells the end of the Vampire Counts, as all these Thunders, Iron Drakes who have regrouped from routing were able to just focus down the poor Blood Dragon Lord. very nice build from Saber's Regnum versus Rainy Frog. A very promising player for sure, but unfortunately this time fighting the unorthodox build of Saber's Regnum. Also a very definitely a dwarf main. So yeah, we can see that the Iron Drakes didn't do well. One of them did good enough to earn back their own value. Two of them actually doing a lot of damage. Thunder is also outputting some serious hurt onto the Vampire Count's monsters, and the Miners mostly there just to hold down the chaff, not really there to do anything else. Thoric Ironbrow, minimal damage, mostly there for melee buffs and whatnot, but yeah, he's just a good tanky lord for the vampire, for the dwarves, and also the Rune of Wrath and Ruin can be a very good chaff clearing tool in a pinch. So yeah, always a good solid pick against anything really. Vampire Count, we have Vargeist getting obliterated by the Dwarf Crossfire. You don't underestimate the Dwarf bullets and gunpowder. Never. And then the Crypt Horrors got hit hard as well. All the monsters pretty much died horribly under a fiery death. The rest of the army, Skeleton and Zombie Chaff, not doing much. Yeah. Very unfortunate for Rainy Frog's Vampire Counts. Blood Dragon Vampire Lord not doing much damage either. Like, it's not even enough to cover his cost, so definitely not a good damage value for sure. Anyways, that's it for armies. That's it for this battle. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we still have 9 battles, and hopefully we should end everything before 10. I mean, before, yeah, let me think. Human Boy Yes tournament is in an hour and 15 minutes. So we should be able to finish everything before then. We did like what, 4 battles in the span of 45 minutes. Good. We should be able to do everything in time. Now the next battle is Boujalicious versus John FB. Are these Friday night tourneys streamed live? Crowd, yes, they usually, if me or Human Boy can stream live, we would. But for this week, we have an NA time zone Friday night fight, and that will be streamed by Human Boy. Like, if there is a European time zone, I occasionally stream that. I mean, I streamed NA time zones a couple times as well, but like, I usually stream the European time zone ones. Sometimes Human Boy also take over if I'm not free. So, like, it's a mix between me and Human Boy. Like, if we can't stream them live, usually I would just ask CoolUmbrella, who is also the host of the tourney, to just ask everyone for their replays and send it to me, and then I'll just cast the replays, like what I'm doing right now. But yeah, anyways, for the battle itself, we have John FB as the Skavens, and shit, I forgot. Oh wait, Boujalicious as the Tomb Kings. A front line of skeleton warriors and a 3 units of skeleton spears. The Capra Guard, very solid anti-infantry unit, and then some very cheap and cheerful skeleton chariots. 2 Cambrian War Sphinx to use their mass and plow through all those Skaven infantry. A few skeleton horses for that disruption mobility, and leading the army would be Arcane the Black with Spirit Leech and Doom and Darkness for that leadership debuff. In the sky, some Carrions, and that's it for the Tomb Kings build. Now on the other side, we have the Skaven box. Yes, this is another box. I think it's 5 out of 5 boxes we have in today. A front line of Skaven shields, and then 3 Poison Wing Globadiers, a Warp Long Jezzail, a Kick Zap Zap, and a Warp Lightning Cannon. A few more Climate Spears on the flanks and at the back, and 4 Rat Ogres for that mass blocker to pin down any cavalry and monsters, and also chariots, of course. A Kick Claw coming in with his Flancing Ruin and Howling Warp Gale. Howling Warp Gale specifically to lock down any Carrions who dare to approach the Skaven lines. Now, unfortunately, the Capra Guard is gonna hit hard by the Brass Orb here. Also being bombarded by some of the Warp Lightning Cannon, taking massive losses before they even get to melee contact. Some of the skeleton horses trying to harass them. Oh, interesting. Trying to harass the Skaven lines here, but getting hit by the Poison Wing Globadier instead. Also luring some of that friendly fire onto the Clamorous Spears, but they are just Clamorous Spears. Who cares about their life? So yeah, not the greatest engagement for Bujalicious so far. Forgetting that skeleton horse is so close to the Poison Wind, definitely a big mistake, and that skeleton horse is just gonna die straight up, crumbling to dust. On the other side, the skeleton horses are also getting shot hard by the Warplug Joseos. I do think that... Ooh, wait, where's the Warsphinx? What? Am I missing things? Yeah, okay. They only have a unit flag. So, okay, the Warsphinx have dove into melee combat, drawing some of those units out of place. And the Red Ogres were able to collapse onto a Warp Lightning Cannon, but a terror route from the Warp Lightning Cannon crew was able to just draw them out of that engagement and perhaps keep them alive a little longer, while on the other side, Skeleton Horses taking massive damage from the Warlock Joseos, Cameron the Warsphinx pushing through different parts of the Skaven front line, and the Carrions finally start moving forward, and Arkan the Black is just sitting back there. He doesn't want to get close. Even if he's not close enough, he's still getting shot hard by the Warp Lightning Cannon, taking some noticeable damage. Warlord Josel's moving up as well, trying to get in place and start shooting at Arkan when he gets close, but he's not coming in just yet. Well, he's coming in actually. Carrions moving in, probably trying to harass and shut down the Poison Wing Globadiers and the Warp Lightning Cannon crews. If anything, this would be a good time for a Howling Warp Gale, but it seems that a Howling Warp Gale is not in place just yet. What the hell is this Carrion Warsphinx eating? Oh, a lot of... oh, got shot by Kigzaps at point blank even. While the Kebra Guard will be charged by a Kicklaw himself and being blobbing out around the single entity, they got hit by a heavy Brass Orb ability. On the side there, Flensing Ruin drawing out the health of Arkan the Black, while the Skeleton Infantry continues to push, threatening, compromising all these Skaven missiles. A Doom and Darkness is dropped onto this blob here, trying to make sure the Red Ogres and the Skavens get routed earlier, while the Warlock Joseos and whatnot will be pressured off by the Carrions and the Skeleton Spears. Some of these Red Ogres and Poison Wing Globadiers have been routed by the Doom and Darkness, and yeah, they will not be doing damage for now, but they still have quite a bit of health left, so once the spell wears off, they will be returning into the fray. Right now, the Skavens are on a mass exodus, but balance of power is actually in favor of the Skavens right now. As their missiles, some of them are still quite healthy. Warlock Josel's now focusing down the Carrions. Okay. Not the Cameron the Warsphinx. Now I'm surprised, kind of. Cameron the Warsphinx, though, is tied down by a bunch of Red Ogres, doing some meh damage against the Red Ogres while they themselves are being dragged down. On the side there, Arkan the Black is engaging a Kicklaw. He did put Liber Mortis on himself for a little bit there, so he stayed alive a little longer with the damage mitigation. On the side, Ushapti has been summoned on top of the Poison Wing Globadiers, trying to work them down, but a Climate Spears will be bailing out those Skaven missiles. Now, these Skaven missiles, now that they're secure, are able to just drop their shots onto a whole lot of Tomb King units, trying to drain away their health with that Poison Wind effect, while the Brass Orb will be working down the Kepra Guard once more. All three Brass Orbs are dropped onto the Kepra Guard. Definitely a good target for that ability / item, actually, because, well, after all, that's the highest value infantry on the entire Tomb King's army. Flensing Rune once again draining the health of Arkan away, and he is approaching slowly but steadily to his death. Skeletons are still fighting hard, but the Skavens somehow are still significantly in the advantage in terms of balance of power. Probably because Arkan is so low in health, and another Flensing Rune upgraded version is giving him a big headache. He's probably gonna die from this spellcast, or at least routed, especially with a Kicklaw chasing after him. Yeah, oh no, not routed, but crumbling to death. But yeah, with a kick charging in one hit, and he's gonna be gone. And there goes the Tomb King leadership. Nope. Yep, he's gone. He has to be gone, right? Yep, he's gone. Yep. And Tomb Kings are now at major disadvantage with the Cambrian War Sphinx running low on HP. I still think they can. They definitely have the potential to carry this game, though. Balance of power is kind of drunk right now. There's still, unfortunately for the Tomb Kings, there's still a lot of missiles from the Skavens left, especially with the Warlock Jezzails. Oh yeah, with the Warlock Jezzails, then the Tomb Kings are looking quite rough right now. Their skeletons will get cleared out by the poison winds. Oh, and the Tomb Kings decided to give up. Boujalicious will be faltering. Yeah, the Cambrian War Sphinx really didn't do too much here. They were able to disrupt artillery and rout off infantry, but that's about all they could have done right now. While Keplerguard got hit hard, the primary target of all brass orbs, and got hit by the artillery as well. Poor thing. Mobility-wise, not a lot of damage. Skeleton horsemen, really a mediocre cavalry. I would probably use Nekara horsemen instead, simply because they are much better in melee stats and can hold longer in battle and whatnot. Carrions did some okay damage, and the skeletons did some okay damage. They're skeletons, so really not much to talk about them. Arc in the Black, those Spirit Leeches are nice, but Flensing Ruin and getting hit by Warp Lightning Cannon is definitely more painful. A Kick Claw. The Flensing Ruins are devastating, man. And also Brass Orbs, working down the entire unit of Kepler Guard. And the rest of the army not quite doing much here, except this one unit of Poison Wind Globadiers, almost earning double their value. The Warp Lightning Cannon didn't do much, got routed early by the Cambrian War Sphinx, and neither did the Warlock Jezzails. Really just a kit carrying the game, really. Oof. But yeah, oh, Red Ogres did fine though. They do have enough mass to pin down the Cambrian War Sphinx for a bit, and with their armor piercing did some pretty nice damage. Now next, Boujalicious versus Ever Chicken. Oh, Ever Chicken is in ODM now. Huh. Okay. Rainy Frog, I've become better to break boxes now. Still not really good, but yeah, nice. Good to see newer players are improving here. I mean, I haven't been the most active player recently, so I'm definitely slacking off. But yeah, of course I'm not like the most hardcore player, so I'm kind of half playing for fun, but also half playing competitively. But yeah. Good to see like better and better players overtaking the scene here, really. Anyways, for the we have a battle between, I forgot to check the players again, but either ways, we have the Beastmen versus Lizardmen. The front line of the Beastmen, wait, Boujalicious and Ever Chicken, yeah, Boujalicious versus Ever Chicken. Front line of Angora Spearman Herd, and just one Angora Raider, a couple Sentinels with Fring Axes, and a Butchers of Kalkin God, and then we have the dreaded double Gorgon plus a single Jabber's Life. And leading the army, of course, Great Brave Shaman of Lore of Traderkin. On the other side, yeah, it's just Lore of Traderkin. Sometimes I bring Mantle of Gorok because funny buffs, stacking all the way to 100 plus attack, but yeah, that's an overkill, and I'm just doing that for the laws. Anyways, for the Lizardmen, a front line of Skinks and more Skinks, Skink Skirmishers, Skinks with Javelins, and they're kiting back. And Feral Coans plus Koan Spear Riders and more Spear Riders. Also, Nakaida Wonder, interesting. I wouldn't bring him in anywhere, but I guess. I feel like Nakaida Wonder is something you would... I don't know. I don't see... Wait, where's the Spellcaster? There's no Bastiladon healing. What? There's... Oh, wait, okay. Spellcaster, Skink Priest, but there's no healing here, and which is a major concern when you're dealing with something like Traderkin, which is direct damage spelled, which has nothing to counteract. Anyways, the Pterodon Riders are firing, and the Angor front line are being slowly but steadily worked down by all those skirmishers. And let's do some fast forward here. Pterodon Riders will have some missile resistance and a janky hitbox, so they are not taking the most damage from all those missiles. Still taking noticeable damage as they're kind of glass cannony, but overall they can kind of survive a few volleys of missiles. And just trying to slowly chip away health of all kinds of Beastman units, especially trying to work down the Great Bray Shaman right now. Skink Skirmisher is also moving in, just trying to get rid of the Lore of Traitorkin as soon as possible, but with all the missiles coming their way, even with the missile resistance and janky hitbox, it is still too much. Double Gorgon is engaging, and this is a very rough kind of combination. I definitely should, like, Gorgons should definitely be limited to one, because they have self-healing, anti-lodge armor piercing, and solid terror and all that. So yeah, things are not looking great already at the first 3 minutes of combat for the Lizardman. Traitorkin especially hitting multiple units of expensive targets. Not too expensive, but Cohen Spear Riders and Feral Cohens are still good targets to hit, while Nakai is just sitting back, not engaging at all. Not sure what's the plan here, but definitely a mistake not throwing him into combat and start giving the army those buffs they desperately need to work down all those Beastman forces. Nakai, main attraction of Nakai here is damage resistance, perfect vigor, and like basically his abilities, debuffs, his passives, actives. Like, Nakai isn't the greatest melee combatant. His value lies in his auras. Golden Tributes providing perfect vigor and damage resistance, very good. Like, if you just start using it at the very beginning of the battle, keeping a blob of elite troops around him, which Traitorkin will be punishing it perfectly. But anyways, yeah. Nakai is a buff bot, he's not a fighter. Like, yeah, sure, he is strong at fighting too, but like, he's mostly there to provide buffs. Like, he didn't bring Boujalicious, no, not Boujalicious. Every Chicken didn't bring Primal Roar. Primal Fury? Primal Rage? Basically the area of effect ability that grants plus 40 melee attack. Like, it would be really useful in this scenario here. Just buffing a blob of forces to grind through all of those Beastman forces. Of course, that also means that it will be very vulnerable to a Traitorkin, but you lose some, you win some. Especially, you need something to work down the Gorgons fast. Now that Nakai is getting hit by multiple Gorgons and the Jabberslave, and he's gonna get wrecked. Of course, the rest of the Lizardman army is doing work to deal with all the Beastman forces, but the main thing of the Beastman army is just this blob of single entities here, and the Jabberslave on the side. The Jabberslave, you can work him down with a turret of blow dots and javelins, but the Gorgon's not so much. Especially, this is gonna be brutal. 2 Koan Spear Riders and Nakai himself being caught by the Traitorkin. Of course, the 10% ward save from the golden statue would be keeping them alive a little bit, just a little bit longer. But yeah, things are not looking too great for the Lizardmen for now. Balance of power is in the favor of Beastmen, and the double Gorgon is just rampaging through the ranks of Beastmen. We'll just watch and fast forward here, because I don't really like this combo as on a viewing perspective. It's literally just 2 Gorgon cycle charging everything to death, and you can't kill them because they have freaking self-heals. Healing needs nerf, guys. CA, if you're listening to it, I know you won't be listening to this. Healing needs nerf, please. Please, nerf healing. Anyways, enough of that. Nakai will be dealt with by a Gorgon and a pursuing Jabberslave. He is just running for his life right now, being chased down by this monster who is still pretty much full health. Like, he can self-heal himself to full health and keep himself there, pretty much. We still can't see their heal cap too, so that doesn't help. Everything routes, army losses, yeah. Rip Lizardmen. Anything against the double Gorgon is rough. I mean, there are ways to take them down. I've heard of cases of doing so, but yeah, things are rough. Double Gorgon plus Jabberslave and Traitorkin. Ugh. Brutal stuff. Like, it doesn't matter if you rout off the entire rest of the Beastman army, as long as the double Gorgon are still there and the Jabberslave, and your army your army would be very, very weak in dealing with them. Like, I don't know how do you deal with them. I personally can't think of a way, so maybe somebody can think about a solution other than banning them, I guess. I mean, there are no bans in on the rules committee just yet about Gorgon, so It's very beatable, but yeah, healing needs nerf. It's beatable, I guess, if you have a bunch of blood punishing spells, but Lizardman doesn't really have that, right? I don't know how you can beat that with Lizardman. What's up? It's hot outside, boys. It is indeed very hot. Anyways, let's just talk about the Lizardman army performances as well. Yeah, Nakai doesn't really do much in melee. He is a buff bot and a debuff dispenser. He's an aura dispenser, basically. Like, he provides the what is it called? Miasma of Despair and that Golden Statue and his Primal Rage ability. Oh, it grants 40% physical resistance, actually. I remember that now. And plus melee attack. So it would have been really good. But not quite so over here. It would have been really good to just buff up stuff. But yeah, not quite so over here. The Skink Priest took some... I don't even know what the Skink Priests do. But like, the rest of the army, Koan Cavalry kind of underperformed. They have never been a great cavalry for sure. Usually, Koan Cavalry has lower stats and whatnot, so yeah, kind of sucks. Also, less models, I think. Anyways, the rest of the army here, Skinks trade cost efficiently, but cost efficiently doesn't help them win the game here, especially against freaking Gorgons. Double of them. Triple Horn ones versus double Gorgon doesn't work. Yeah, definitely not. Free Giants, I don't think you can bring Free Giants. Yeah, Free Giants is definitely banned from tournament. So yeah, unfortunately that doesn't work. Give me a second. I made like a Nakai the Wonder build ages ago. Miasma, Primal Roar. Plus 20% physical resistance, plus 40 attack. Yes, you have a rampage thing going on, but I mean, you're Nakai. You're fighting in a blob anyways. It doesn't really matter. Like, Nakai is supposed to fight in a blob, so it doesn't matter. Oh, Golden Tributes, plus 10% damage resistance and Perfect Vigor. So a pretty good, like, buff ability. Like, Nakai is supposed to fight in a blob, using all his auras to his advantage here. Like, you don't just send him on and leave him separated or anything. He's not a duelist. He just fight and provide support. So he kind of sucks, but also not suck. Anyways, CoolUmbrella versus Saber's Ragnum. Shredder of Lustre could do well? No, Shredder will get destroyed by double Gorgon. Doesn't matter. He is one target versus two Gorgons and a Jabberslav cycle charging the massive hitbox of a Shredder to death. It doesn't work. Double Troc Scoot and Shoot. Maybe, but you're fighting against the Beastmen. I mean, against, like, the thing about, I think I'm just copying somebody else's words here, but the thing about fighting a Gorgon is that a counter against a Gorgon is very different from a regular Beastman rush build where you employ a large amount of Centaurs and Ungors. Like, you can't bring the same build to counter the Ungor plus Centaur rush and versus the double Gorgon build. 20 Grey Relics always win, so yeah, that I guess the spirit of the Gorg, you're right. 20 Grey Relics always win. Oh wait, no, you need a Lord. So yeah, no. But yeah, yeah, double Gorgon is rough. Anyways, army builds this time. CoolUmbrella's versus Saber's Ragnum. CoolUmbrella as the Ogre Kingdoms, a front line of Nobblers mixed in with Nobbler Trappers. Is this the battle you talked about? CoolUmbrella, Ogre versus VC. And a bunch of Nobbler Trappers, and then a couple Ogre Bulls. 3 Man-Eaters with great weapons at the back there, and a couple Ogre Bulls. On the other side here, Vlad von Karstein, supported by a single unit of Black Knights, a line of Skeleton Warriors, a line of Grave Gods, one of them the Stonesmen, and 5 zombies at the back. Leading the army is Vlad von Karstein himself, supported by a Banshee, which is definitely a weakness of Ogre Kingdoms because they don't have much magic damage. And yeah, things are not gonna be great for the Ogres to fight the Banshee. 2 corpse cards, one Unholy Lowstone, the other Unholy Lowstone with a Necromancer on top, just to get that lesser raise dead for 1 more zombie summon. Not sure about how both builds work in this matchup. Usually I just see people bring Blood Dragon Lord and a couple Blood Knights and like charge everything of the Ogre to death. And my personal approach to this kind of matchup is, as the Ogres, is just to bring double Stonehorn Hunters. They have their anti-launch missiles to shoot at the Vargheists or any cavalry or any like larger targets. And then they also have the tankiness and charging animation, the impact damage to kill off a horde of zombie chaff. The only problem is that you need to make sure your Slaughtermaster is alive all the time, especially when there's a Blood Dragon Vampire Lord hunting you down. Things would be rough that way, but yeah. Like, if I manage to keep my Slaughtermaster alive, I usually win those battles. But if I accidentally let my opponent snipe out my Slaughtermaster, I'll definitely lose. It's a little bit finicky. Ooh, but there is something I missed. A Fire Belly in the field. With magic attacks, he might actually be the key to fighting the Banshee here. A pretty nice, interesting pick. Anyways, the Iron Blaster is chipping away the models of the Blood Knights here, while the artillery is firing. The Ogres are free to kite back, just avoiding combat, just backing off a bit, and then you'll turn and shoot again. Just scoot and shoot, scoot and shoot. Also, some Nobbler Trappers also doing some kiting action. While on the side there are some Ogre Bulls cycle charging into the Skeleton Warriors, trying to do some impact damage. Just using that charge impact to really dish out the pain against the Skeletons, and the Blood Knights there have been taking some pretty solid damage so far. Yeah, the unit models have been dying, but yeah, we're watching it in fast forward. This is gonna be like slow. CoolUmbrella, you don't beat Gorgons with other single entities. You 20 stack with lots of shooting. Maybe. But I don't know. Like, that's what the Jabberslave is for, right? Like, you throw in the Jabberslave and just disrupt all kinds of shooting. Anyways, with a bit of kiting, this is very slow. We will just kind of sit there and wait. A Burning Head goes down the line on some zombies, just roasting one zombie unit, while the Ogre Bulls are trying to like kite and cycle charge and slowly pick apart the Skeleton's army. Blood Knights are down to down to their last bar of HP here as they're approaching their heal cap. Ogre Bulls are being charged by the Blood Knights here, being isolated from the rest of the army here, definitely taking some heavy damage and giving additional healing for the Blood Knights here, as they are enjoying the hunger here, providing hit point regeneration in melee combat. Anyways, the front line is engaging, but things are not looking great in the frontline engagement for the Ogres here, as the zombies and the Skeletons and Grave Gods are slowly but steadily grinding down all those Nobblers. Jabberslave is a great monster, faster than lizards and hits harder than the Tomb King's kitties. The thing is, the Jabberslave, the most annoying thing about a Jabberslave is the disruptive animation. It flies a bit, it flops a bit, like it flies slightly higher than the ground, but not actually flying, and just leaps through the battlefield. So the charge animation actually forces its way through all kinds of units, and doing some really good impact damage every time it performs those charge impact. Anyways, for the back to the battle here, we have the zombies and infantry are pushing, grinding through the Nobbler Trappers. Now the reserves of the Ogre Kingdoms here. The Man-Eaters have been engaging in combat. Man-Eaters with great weapons now chasing after the Blood Knights, and the Blood Knights are running for their lives. A little bit of slip of micro from Saber's Ragnum here, being caught by the Man-Eaters, and the Blood Knights are direly in need of an Invocation of Nehek. While over here, a blob of zombies and Grave Guards are forming, as the Necromancer is providing some really nice healing, and also Vigor Mortis and all those buffs. Wait, no, he's not on the corpse card. What? He's just on foot. Never mind. Okay, never mind. My bad. Mistaken. I have mistaken. But the Blood Knights, though, surviving that whole ordeal of being chased by Man-Eaters, and are now chasing after some routed zombie units and whatnot. The Iron Blasters have been left largely alone now, just shooting at whatever blobbed up infantry it can find. Blood Knights still taking some damage from the Nobbler Trappers, but not a lot, especially with the 110 armor, shields, and their additional missile resistance, as long as they're not engaging in melee combat. They are kind of engaging in melee combat, I guess, but whatever. But yeah, they're just not taking much damage overall. Yeah, out of melee and when enabled. Yeah. But yeah, on the far side there, Nobblers are moving in to support the Man-Eaters against zombies and Grave Gods. The Man-Eaters definitely do not want to fight in there because they don't have the greatest armor and will be taking some very unfavorable attrition damage from the zombies. Over here we have Man-Eaters and more Man-Eaters fighting surrounded by zombies. Not great for them because they're not great at fighting chaff with their great weapons. And yeah, the Banshee and Vlad has just been constantly working them down. Iron Blaster still firing into the fray. Ogre Bolts being recharged by the Blood Knight and have been routed. On the far side, last one shot of the Iron Blaster. Can it actually hit the Blood Knights and do the damage they need to take down the Vampire Cavalry? Took down like one unit model, but that's about it. And more zombies have been summoned into the fray here, slowly whittling down all those Man-Eaters with great weapons. The Fire Belly needs to start engaging here because the Blood Knights are doing some massive charge impact damage on the Slaughtermaster. Not great. While at the back there and Butcher healing up the Man-Eaters, they need to be extracted and start going back into the middle fight and deal with the Blood Knights. Like, the Iron Blaster alone can psycho charge everything on that pocket to death, so they should have been left alone and maybe send some Nobblers to pin them down. But right now, Ogres simply don't have the tools to deal with all of the single entities of the... Yeah, they just simply don't have the tools to deal with the single entities of the Vampire Count here. Man-Eater's leadership are barely holding because they have the immune to psychology. If not for the immune to psychology, they would have been routed much earlier. But now, even their immune to psychology and their solid leadership is not enough, and they will be routed by the presence of Vlad von Karstein and a bunch of units. And yeah, their leadership just cannot hold up against so many effects. Nobblers are not getting thrown into combat, probably a mistake here. Firebelly is isolated against the Banshee and Vlad himself. Very close right now. Balance of power is dead even. The Iron Blaster psycho charging might be a deciding factor of this game, because it can do some pretty good impact damage whenever it charges in. More Man-Eaters came back, just plowing through some of these zombies, but unfortunately the Slaughtermaster has been routed. Good news is that there are no more Blood Knights. It's just Vlad versus Vlad, the Banshee, yeah, Vlad, Banshee, and the Necromancer versus the world. Yeah. But the thing is that all three single entities are still very much healthy here, and the Man-Eaters are anti-large specialists. They don't really have the... I don't know if they can work down all these vampire single entities who are still healing and receiving protection from the summoned skeletons and whatnot. This is gonna be a tight show. The Banshee is being pushed out of the circle. Good news for the vampire counts, but bad news... no, good news is for the ogres, but bad news is that these Man-Eaters here are also slowly whittled down by everything, pretty much. And the Iron Blaster is pretty much just left there and get chipped away by the Banshee. What the fuck? You're supposed to be psycho charging them, CoolUmbrella. No! Don't just leave it there. Why? Why you do this? Anyways, at the back there, Nobbler Trapper is terror routed by Vlad von Karstein. Finally, the Firebelly decides to go into melee combat after receiving some healing, and should be able to beat down the Banshee with its magic attacks. But still, again, the problem is Vlad. If you can't deal with Vlad, you're pretty much dead. Like, he is the tank, one of the tankiest lords in the game, especially with like Karstein Ring, right? Like 60% damage resistance. Things are rough. Psycho charges were attempted. The Necromancer has been beaten back, but there's also some Grave Gods fighting in the mix. All these Nobblers are not gonna be holding for long there. I don't know, man. Things are looking pretty dicey. This might be just a draw. Oh, is this a draw? Is this the draw? We're going for a full 20-minute gameplay here. Gosh. Okay, we're fast forward. We're doing quite a bit of fast forward from now on. Cause holy shit, this is a long game. We have like Vlad is still fighting. The 20-minute mark is coming. To be fair, the Ogre Kingdoms might just be able to have this with all those cycle charges, and Vlad is reaching his heal cap. But Vlad, it doesn't go down without a fight. Almost there, almost there, almost there, almost there, and that's the end of the battle. It's a draw. But I think if given like a couple more minutes, CoolUmbrella would have won the game. But yeah, that's it for this one battle here. We have Man-Eaters doing a lot of damage throughout the game. One of them not so much, being worked down by the Blood Knights and zombies and whatnot. Iron Blasters did really well. Cycle charging is a strong suit of the unit in the late game. You don't see many draws, because the reason why this is a draw is because both armies have all kinds of healing available to them. The Vampire Counts have a bunch of passive heals and also Invocation of the Hunger and whatnot. Ogre Kingdoms, Butcher and Troll Guts just keep spamming those two spells pretty much. So that's why we have a draw here. Oh, Sabers forgot to turn the timer off. Fair dues. Anyways, the rest of the army, we have some Ogre Bulls, meh damage. Like, they can beat up skeletons and zombies pretty well, but once they're fighting higher tier stuff, they just get shredded. Especially when there's a Vlad from Karstar in there. Trappers did some solid damage. Trappers have always been a very good unit, and yeah, that's it for that Ogre army. Oh, the Firebelly did some good damage too. Vampire Count, Vlad, as always, the tank, the man, the myth, the legend. Banshee did really well. Again, physical resistance on the Banshee means that the Ogres doesn't have the most magic damage, struggles to do well against the Banshee. Especially with their large unit models, means that they have a hard time surrounding the Banshee. The rest of the army here, Blood Knights did okay, but constantly being shot by the Iron Blasters took a lot of that HP away from them. The Stormsman, what the hell, 1,800 gold worth of damage value, very solid unit. I always love that infantry, probably one of my favorite infantry in Warhammer 2. Probably still is one of my favorite infantry, other than the Swordmasters of OF. But yeah, zombies, not much, just fodder to drag down enemy units and absorb hits. So yeah. Okay, we have we have 6 more. We have 6 more battles. Can we do this? Let's be quick this time. John FB versus Gentle Rat. Dwarves versus Chaos Dwarves. Very thematic grudge match. Thoric plus Engineer plus Athane plus 5 warriors with great weapons, 2 Ironbreakers, 2 Thunders, 2 Rangers, and 2 Brimstone guns. Chaos Dwarfs, 2 Deathshriek rocket launchers, 4 Hobgoblin Cutthroats. And wait, what? Hold on a second. Yeah, 5 laborers in the front line, 3 orc laborers, 5 goblin laborers in the front line. Spear wolf raiders and 2 dual axes bow centaurs. Deathshriek rocket launchers are being hidden in the forest, just trying to hide away from the any direct fire. But this is not a problem for the gyrocopters, but they do not really want to get close to the Deathshriek rocket launchers, because those missiles can do massive damage to single entity targets once they shoot their shooting mode, of course. Even against infantry, they're doing some pretty good splash damage with their scatter shots. Some of them targeting massive damage on the Ironbreakers here, but the dwarf leadership might just be able to hold them out. Alright, just hydrating myself. Now, from the far side there, we have the gyrocopter is being hit by an overcast plague of rust, but there's nothing to pin them down. So the Hobgoblin archers are actually having a hard time finding their mark on the gyrocopters, doing some nice chip damage, but it is still only chip damage. While all the cutthroats have been deployed all the way at the far back, probably expecting a Dowie box, so not much damage has been, like, they have to march all the way from that end all the way back to here to get into the Dowie backline, and they're not quite getting there just yet, giving the dwarves a lot of time to fight a divided Chaos Dwarf army. Now the single shots are being launched at the gyrocopters, as you can see here. One shot take away a huge chunk of HP on the gyrocopters. They don't have the most HP at, like, what? Yeah, 3,700 HP pulled at 4-unit model. So yeah, a few hits of the Death Shriek rocket launchers and these things will be dead. The problem is not the gyros though, it's the front line. Dwarf warriors are steadily grinding through the goblin laborers with their sheer quality armor and leadership, and the orc laborers, goblin laborers are struggling to hold them back. Hobgoblin archers though are focusing down some of the gyrocopters, but they are also falling victim to the bombardments. One of the gyros have been routed, the other is just retreating. They do not want to hang around the missiles for too long here. The two Hobgoblin Wolf... Oh no, the two... Wait, where are the Bull Centaurs? Okay, one of them has been thrown into melee combat against the Dwarf Warriors, just trying to work them down. The other one also took some attrition damage. Not sure from what, probably the Brimstone Guns or something. And the Goblin Cutthroats are chugging out their missiles at the closest unit, and that is the Gyrocopters. And now they're ambushing... Well, not really ambushing, but they're like flanking around into the back of the dwarf lines. Some of these orc laborers also marching into the rangers, hoping to disrupt them, but rangers having not too bad of a melee stats, 18 attack, 26 defense. They should be able to hold the line for now. While the Bull Centaurs will be constantly cycle charging, trying to work down all those armored dwarves. While the Death Shriek rocket launchers now secured are now launching shots into the blobbed up dwarf infantry. It is a matter of attrition once more, whether the Iron Breakers can weather the storm, or perhaps the wait, what is this? Transmutation of lead. Not sure if it's a worth it spell, but it's something, I guess. But yeah. Wait, they're now shooting at Thoric. No, why are you shooting Thoric? 15%. Okay, wait, hold on. Is there magic damage? Okay, it's magic. Oh, this is worse. Magic munition on the Death Shriek rocket launcher launching at Thoric Eyebrow. Terrible idea. 15% missile resistance plus... Oh wait, no. Yeah, okay, never mind. Yeah, I forgot. Spell resistance and magic resistance are different now. Anyways, still, 15% of missile resistance means that Thoric is not taking as much damage as he should be taking. But at least it's bypassing the physical resistance and spell resistance, and doing some good damage. But once again, the Death Shriek rocket launchers have been distracted, this time by the gyrocopters charging to tie them down in melee. The Bull Centaurs are still a major issue here, while the Sorcerer Prophet of Metal is running for his dear life, knowing that he cannot fight all three dwarf characters, although he himself is now falling victim to the Thunders shooting him from afar. Now at the back here, something needs to be done to deal with the gyrocopters with brimstone guns, especially with the dwarf warriors coming in, threatening to shut down the Death Shriek rocket launchers. More and more dwarf warriors are coming in actually, and there's not a lot the Chaos Dwarfs can do to stop them. Well, there is one, which is just recharging them with the Bull Centaur renders and doing some good damage against the dwarf warriors, helping the Death Shriekers to go back online once more, and are now launching their shots into Thoric Eyebrow and missing. What the fuck? And they just shot one of the freaking Bull Centaur renders instead? God, what the fuck? Anyways. Now they're launching shots once more. Maybe, perhaps. Okay, they're not launching it into the tree, which is good. Is it gonna land on Thoric? Okay, they're doing some really good damage with that shot actually. Yeah. Honestly, I would say that... Oh, this one launched into a tree there. Shouldn't have hidden them in the tree, or at least like seeing that there is no artillery on the field should have just moved them out. Like, This is the problem here. Like, you're shooting into the tree, wasting a lot of those ammo. Now they're moving out, but this might be a little too late as a lot of these dwarf threats are coming in to finish them off. There's still one Bull Center Renders to, like, keep them protected, but the thing is, these are iron breakers, and they're dang heavy. And oh, okay, the flash bomb slowing them down as well, preventing them from pulling out of this melee combat. Being hit by Thoric himself. Yeah, this is not looking great for the Death Freak rocket launcher. They're taking a lot of damage, and they do not have the speed to escape to safety. Like, even Thoric can easily catch up with the Death Freak rocket launchers, and there goes the majority of the firepower and killing power of the Chaos Dwarfs. If the Death Freaker rocket launchers were able to be kept alive, I would say this might be a decisive victory for the Dawizar, but right now things are not looking great for the Chaos Dwarfs right now. Death Freaker rocket launchers are compromised, and they do not have anything to do with Thoric Iron Brow and the Iron Breakers. Maybe cycle charging from the Bull Center Enders might work, but right now things are not looking great with the single entity Hero Hammer. With the constant, another flash bomb. This is not looking great. Sorcerer Prophet of metal. He has high armor, but so does the rest of the dwarf army, and also the rest of the dwarf army have armor piercing other than the Feint. So yeah, once they start engaging in melee and the Iron Breakers start fighting back with a Rune of Doom, then okay, yeah, never mind. Like, once the Death Freakers are dead, there's nothing to kill the single entities, and the Iron Breakers will just simply wear down everything the Chaos Dwarfs throw at them. So John FB will be winning this battle against Gentle Red. The Iron Breakers did really well. One of them 1,800 gold worth of damage value. The Dwarf Warriors did okay as well, but yeah, most of the work were done by the Iron Breakers. Yeah, the Thunderers got compromised early by the Thunderers and Rangers got compromised by the Sneaky Gits. So a very nice deployment of Vanguard troops, but that was not able to save them from Thoric, the OP Iron Brow, and the Iron Breakers. But yeah, mostly I do think that it's losing the Death Freaker rocket launchers with so much ammo left on these artillery pieces was a major blow to the Chaos Dwarf army. Unfortunately, there's just not enough assets to keep them alive, and a lot of the infantry got routed. Like, yeah. Let's see, what else? We have the Bull Center Enders doing some pretty solid damage in the battle, earning back their worth, but not so much for the Sorcerer Prophet of Metal. Mostly there for buffs and debuffs. And yeah, let's see. Not much else. Like, the Sneaky Gits did well in shutting down the Dwarf missiles, but other than that, not much can be said about them. Everything just kind of crumbled in front of the walls of steel and iron. So, next up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. CoolUmbrella. Okay. Greenskins versus Norskin. Between CoolUmbrella and Captain Rumschmuck or Captain Morgan. Alright, 5 battles in half an hour. Let's get this done. So, army builds. 5 Orc Boar Boy Biggins, one of them the Broken Tusk Mob. 2 Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins, or what are those? Boar Boys. I think it's Boar Boy Biggins, yeah. Anyways, we have also the Swamp Things. Definitely a definitely a NC staple now. Strike Games have been pushing for more use of the Swamp Things. And then we have a bunch of Spider Riders on the fields, Forest Goblin Spider Riders, and the Staple Goblin plus Quick Hurt frontline. Leading the army were Zack, and on the other side we have the Norskins. A frontline of Marauders, one of them the immune to psychology Icehorn Marauders. A Cold Voider in the skies, and a bunch of Skinwolf's armored version. I don't think the Skinwolf's armored version is a great pick here because of all the Orc Boar Boys, Boar Boy Biggins, Trolls, and whatnot all have armor, so all those extra investment in armor is for naught. Norskin Warhounds going to move into combat as well, but the greenskins trying to overwhelm them with sheer numbers here, throwing more and more of the Spider Riders, Boar Boy Biggins into the fray. Frostworm on the other side, and more armored skin wolves, warhounds, and just a bunch of skin wolves trying to overload the right flank. Wolfric leading the army and a Shaman Sorcerer of Death, while Warzak will be dumping down spells constantly, with Brain Burst activating that Bonewood Staff and providing that additional melee attack and charge bonus. And over here, the Cold Warrior jumped into melee combat, probably did a breath attack as well. Yep, used a breath attack onto some of these Boar Boys and Forest Gobbles and whatnot, but things are not looking great for Noskin on this end. Warhounds are routing. Cold Warrior needs to get back into the skies, or else he will be swarmed by all these greenskins and would never have a chance to fly again. On the right flank, though, things are not looking great for the Noskins either, despite their additional resources. The Javelins Hunters are in the front there, shooting down the Squig herds, but the Marauders are getting overloaded by the sheer amount of Squigs and Goblins, and the Skin Wolves, they are fighting hard, but with so much investments into the Frostworms, things are not looking great, to say the least. Like, there's so much resources going into the Dragon unit models, and they're not doing the damage they need to turn those fights around. Like, or Boar Boy Biggins and Broken Tusk mobs and shit are, yeah, just kind of swarming. Oh god. Things are not looking great for sure. Like, things are swarming. All those skin wolves and all that. Yeah, the Cold Warrior is still, like, trying to chase off routing units, but balance of power is already in favor of greenskins right now, with the WAC going hard on. Another breath attack went into the Savage Orc War Boys. Oh, these are just Savage Orc War Boys, not Biggins. My bad, but they have already dealt a lot of damage. 600 gold worth of damage value, and they cost like, what, 700? Like, more than enough to earn their worth, considering they still have so much health left. But yeah. And Noskins are just kind of falling apart all over the field. Cold Warrior isn't doing anything in here, kind of being forgotten. Big mistake from Captain Rumschmuck. And Warfric the Wanderer being tied down by a bunch of goblins, not really doing much in the fight. And oh, a nice pocket of counter attack though. The Noskin strikes back, having the Shaman Sorcerer of Death just tying down a blob of greenskin troops, but then drop in with a Cold Warrior and ooh, okay, and yeah, everything just kind of routed in a big hurry. But the thing is that the Orc Boy Biggins are still quite healthy and are free to beat back the Cold Warrior, and I don't see anything to wear down so many Orc Boy Biggins. The other Frostworm on the other side is being worn down by so many greenskin troops, especially the Broken Tusk Moth. The elite unit is in the fray. Warfric trying to get on top of where's Zach here, but he is gonna get tied down by a bunch of Squigs probably. I don't know. Oh no, yep, the Squigs are kind of going after him. But anyways, he's on foot, so it will take him forever to actually catch up with anything, while the Cold Warrior will be taking damage. And the Shaman Sorcerer of Death dropping some Spirit Leech to make some final worth of himself, but other than that, not much has been done. And then a nice pin with the effigy of the kid here, locking the Cold Warrior on the ground with the help of some Boar Boy Biggins surrounding it, beating it down, and that shall be the end of the Noskins. Oh, Strike Games, I thought you were the one promoting the Swamp Things. I guess it's CoolUmbrella? Okay, because the first time I saw the Swamp Things was seeing you on the Discord streaming your game. So, yeah. Anyways, for the army performances here, damn! The Broken Tusk mobs and the Orc Boar Boy Biggins did well. Like, they earned a lot of value over the course of the game. Even those Savage Orc Biggins. Savage Orc Boar Boys. Yeah, not Biggins, just Savage Orc Boar Boys. And, yeah, the Squig herds grind through the Marauder front line, just roll straight through, kind of very literally rolling through the front line. And the Swamp Thing's terrors come in handy against the low leadership of Norskin troops in general. While the Norskins investing way too much in the Frostworm, I would just go for like four Skin Wolves, no armor, and Yeah. And yeah, like the investment in armor doesn't really do shit against all these armor piercing. Really, like everything other than the gobbles have armor piercing in this army. Like even Wursak himself. So armor against greenskins, not much of a purpose. And Cold Water and the Frostworm didn't really earn back their value. Expensive piece of monster, but very mediocre in terms of combat performance. Partly because of the dragon model having more surface area than everything else, meaning that once they get surrounded, they take more damage than, say, a giant, which is like a small dot on the map, while the Frostworm is like a long line. And same goes for the other dragons. And they do not have any healing abilities, unlike the Lore of Soul Stealer Sorceress Lord. Anyways, yeah, the rest of the army just kind of get shredded. So yeah, pretty sad times for the Norskins. Okay, this is, we skipped that. Skaven, we've seen that. Ooh, Grand Cafe versus Slanesh. I haven't seen this combo for a while, but looking at the build, I would say it's probably Cathay favored. Like, I don't see what the Marauder horses are doing here. And the Slanesh army doesn't have the numbers to deal with all those Cathay missiles. Oh god. Oh shit, he's going for the spell. John FB is going for the spell intensity build. I'm seeing three spellcasters on the field and a freaking box. Okay, so army builds. Astromancer plus, why you put the, okay, he's putting the Astromancer on top of the Wuxing War Compass. So that is only 25% of, yeah, that's only 25% of a harmonic amplifier. Instead of, if you separate the two units, you'll get 50% from the two units combined. This is only one unit, so 25% only. And then Dragon Blood, Shugengan Lord, 50%, plus another 25% from the Alchemist, 100% of additional spell intensity, 130% actually. But, okay. Yeah, it starts from a base 30%, I think, if you have more than two units of the same thing. Anyways, oh wait, no, those are harmonic amplifier. Fuck. That was my bad. Yeah, okay, so, okay, slow down. There's a swarm of Chaos Warrior of Hell Scourges on the other side from the Slanesh army. A single unit of Devoted Marauders and also a Chosen... Wait, where? Wait, where are the Chosen at? Oh yeah, the Chosen already getting bombarded by a combination of Jade Warriors, Jade Warriors, crossbows, just Jade Warriors crossbows, really. Like, their shields are holding up, but the problem is that they are getting hit by an overcast upgraded version of Plague of Rust with 130% spell intensity. So with three of the units on the field, with 3 units with the Mastery of Elemental Winds on the field, the second unit and the third unit each grant 15% of additional spell intensity. That's 130% spell intensity for the spells, minus 78 armor on the Chosens, and they're getting shredded by a torrent of crossbows. In this guys, Chaos Furies got wiped out by the Righteous Lances of Wei Jing, and yeah. Things are not looking great for the Slanesh army. They are being held down by the box of Jade Warriors. And their melee stats are not doing them any favor now. They're not taking much damage, but that doesn't mean that they're doing much damage in return. And the more time the Cathayans bought, the more damage the missiles can do, especially with the Astromancer on his... Why do you put him on the Wuxing War Compass anyways? It doesn't make sense. Okay, you get a Nexus of Elemental Winds to get some power recharge, but that's it. You don't get anything. Like, you should just bring a separate piece of, oh, I guess you get the Bound, Celestial Comet, and Celestial Lightning, I guess, without actually having to pay for spells on the Astromancer. But at that point, you might as well just bring the piece of Wuxing War Compass without the Astromancer. Anyways, the bounce spells are dropped onto those Teen Infantry doing some nice damage, while the Iron Hail Gunners are raining shots onto the Fiends of Slanesh. The Dragon Breath attack continues to dish out damage against the Chosen, especially when they're debuffed in terms of armor. That boost the damage from the Dragon Breath spell. Now the Fiends of Slaanesh are trying to engage in combat, but at this point things are not looking great. Honestly, not looking great for Slaanesh. The Cathay missiles are largely online, and they still have a lot of reserve troops that are untouched, virtually untouched. A chosen Hell Scourges only did minimal damage so far, and a massive bombardment of Celestial Comet. Excuse me, just wiped out half of that Chaos Warriors. They're working down the Peasant Long Spears, but guess what? There are always more peasants at the backline, waiting to engage in combat. So yeah, things are not looking great for the Slaanesh rush. Another overcast Plague of Rust, this time on top of the Chaos Warriors. Now debuffing their armor down to 22, making the Dragon Breath spell significantly better, especially the Dragon's Breath spell is also boosted in terms of damage, doing additional damage with the spell intensity. Now, I think that might just be the end. Like, more and more Chaos Warriors are getting worn down, and the Jade Lancers are cycle charging, rear charging, doing as much damage as possible. Righteous Lancers of Waging are still fighting in the mix, having over half health and almost all of their unit models in the fray. Herald of Slaanesh getting worked down gradually. Chaos Fury is being forgotten in this, guys. They're definitely a big mistake. And let us just fast forward, as I don't believe the Siege Army has any way to bring this back. The Chaos Furies are doing good damage on the charge against the Iron Hail Gunners. If they didn't get forgotten for so long, they probably could have just wiped out the entire unit. But instead, right now, they do a lot less damage, and the rest of the army just kind of falls apart right now. There are still some Chaos Warriors fighting, but that's about it. Once even the Herald went down, and that's basically army losses. GG to both players here. The John FB sneaky spell intensity build really coming in really handy with those synergies. The Plague of Rust debuffing armor and then dropping in the Dragon Breath to boost the damage. Really nice combo there. Might do a short about it, but yeah. Very good damage from the Dragon Blood, the Shugengan Lord, with the synergy from the Plague of Rust and the Dragon Breath spell. The Astromancer also did good damage with all those bound spell on the Wuxing War Compass, but really, you don't really need the Astromancer on top if you're not bringing any spells on him. Like, just bring the Wuxing War Compass. You have the spell intensity, you have the same bound spell, and you have a cheaper unit, I think. Not sure which one's cheaper, but you guys can check it out yourself and bring the whatever cheaper version. But Astromancer being cheaper than the Wuxing War Compass makes no sense. Anyways, Righteous Lancers doing a lot of damage with their great melee stats. Jade Warriors mostly there just to hold the line, and Crossbows did great. One of them did great. The other did okay, and then one of them got cut down by the Hell Scourge. So unfortunately for them, but mostly just the spell cast destroyed a whole lot of the Slaanesh army, keeping the Grand Cathay army alive long enough to just crush the Slaanesh in terms of bounds. Just to wear down the Slaanesh army, and eventually Slaanesh just kind of threw in the towel there. We still have 2 free battles. I guess we have to overrun, but Human Boy's event's gonna start soon, so you guys, if you want to move over there, just move over there when he starts streaming, or maybe he starts streaming a few minutes later and we might have enough time to check out everything. I don't know, but yeah, let's see. We have the last 2 battles really, so we're almost done. Now the finals are actually between John, FB, and Strat Game, so let's go for a little bit of a Dawi game first. This is the finals, so between Strike Games and John FB. Now for the battle builds, it's Bretonnian versus Dwarves, a very dreaded matchup, and I'm feeling this is gonna be a one-sided thing with Grail Cavalry on the ground, and then we have Hippogriff Knight and the Royal Pegasus Knight. Also 7 whole units of Peasant Archers, a single Battle Pilgrims, 3 units of men-at-arms with sword and shield, and a line of peasant mob, just trying to boost the numbers here and overwhelm the dwarf front line. Leading the army, King Luan Leonker, and also a supporting Damsel of Life coming in with only regrowth to support the expensive cavalry. Now on the other side there, we have a line of dwarf warriors mixed in with thunders, more dwarf warriors, thunders, 2 quarrelers, and some slayers at the back, iron breakers to hold the line, and more slayers to protect the goblobbers and cannons for those long-range firepower. Leading the army, we have a bit of a Floric plus engineer combo, and yeah, let's just fast forward a bit as the cannons are opening up onto Goblobber are opening up onto the peasant bows with the discourage effect. Minus 16 leadership, the peasants are routed early, a very effective piece of artillery against low leadership factions. Now that the peasants are routed, probably they should switch their targets to something else. Yep. To another unit of peasant bows. Now, Strike Games is slowly and cautiously approaching the Bretonnians. Slowly but steadily approaching the dwarf front line. Now, once they get into contact, the peasant bows will be raining down shots on the crawlers, but the crawlers are not too easy to be worked on by archers. They do have 35% of missile block chance. I think they should block more, if anything. But well, CA being CA, having weird decisions sometimes. But crawlers also heavy armor. They're tanking out the damage for now, routing off another unit of peasant bows with the support of the rock lobbers. Thunder is opening up onto the closest unit of the Royal Hippogriff Knights, while the Grail Knights somehow getting shredded probably by the cannons from the other side. But the cannons have been disrupted by the Pegasus Knights, just the regular Pegasus Knights actually, and stopping them from firing, while the Royal Pegasus Knights are just surrounding and beating down Thoric Ironbrow. Not too great for the Dowie right now, with a lot of their missile assets compromised, and the Quarrelers turning around, and now without the missile block chance, taking a lot more damage from the torrent of archer fire. Now it's time for the Thunders to be compromised by the Royal Hippogriff Knights, and on the left side there, King Luan Linker is pretty much unstoppable. There are missiles on the field, but none of them are really a threat to King Luan right now, especially he does have the Lion's Shield. Wait, no, he doesn't have the Lion's Shield this time. Okay, never mind. I take back what I just said, but yeah, he's flying. A lot of these missiles are compromised. Nothing is really, posing any threat to King Luan himself, while the Pegasus Knights are now running down some Ekprince miners. Where's the Grail Knights now? Oh, they have received some regrowth healing now, still at half health, and are now running down the rest of the Dwarf army. Without any mass, without any high mass large model units, these Dwarfs infantry are just struggling to contain the Grail Knights. They need something to slow them down and cut them down, but right now there's no such thing. Slayers are dragging down the Royal Hippogriff Knights, but once the Grail Knights charge in, it's gonna be a massacre. And okay, kind of a meh charge, but the Grail Knights can simply just push their way out of the blob. Really, nothing is stopping them and making the whole gameplay really unintuitive right now. Just kind of throw in the Grail Knights and just push them through. Nothing, you can't do anything about it, other than armies with monstrous infantry or cavalry. And guess what? There are units without those. God damn it. Anyways, King Luan is taking a flash bomb to the face, but he is fighting Thoric right now, and it's just beating his ass. Yeah, things are not looking great for Thoric. He is a great combatant for sure, but not as good as King Luan with not as good as King Luan when he's debuffed by the Sword of Corone. On the far side, peasant bows are still shooting into the dwarf infantry and whatnot, just trying to shoot at whatever units they can get their hands on, and just to do a little bit more damage. Royal Hippogriff Knights cycle charging dwarf warriors with their armor piercing attacks should be making quick work of them, and the Grail Knights are unstoppable, running through every single formation of the dwarfs. Things are looking quite bad for the dwarfs right now. Thoric Ironbrow is running low on HP. All their missiles have been compromised and are unable to do anything about the Grail Knights. It's been, what, 2 minutes since we last saw them, and they're still at 31 models and still more than half HP, so things are grim. grim for sure. Thunders are turning around. Not sure what they're trying to shoot at, but I don't think they're gonna be shooting much longer. Things are... Yep. They're not shooting much longer. They decided to change targets against the Grail Knights, and they didn't manage to actually do any shots. While the Royal Hippogriff Knights now back to almost full health, only losing 1 unit model, and actually topped up their health pretty well. Can we divide it by 11? Yes, we can divide that by 11. Yeah, they just topped up to their full HP minus 1 unit models, and they'll be silencing the Thunders. So, yeah, I think we can safe to say this is a loss for the Dwarves. They just don't have any assets to stop the Grail Knights, and yeah, that shall spell the end of the Dawi. And we'll just fast forward everything to the end as the Peasant Archers, they simply shoot down the Dwarves from afar. They don't really get threatened overall, with all the Dwarf assets being tied down on the Bretonnian mobility and whatnot. And yeah, that should be the end of all these quarrelers, and eventually they'll just get shouted to death by all those archers. The last pocket of resistance here is formed around Thoric, and there's some Iron Breakers holding the line as well, but yeah, they can simply get shot to death from afar. And another... Okay, Grail Knights took some more damage from last we saw them, but they just receive a regrowth and walk out of that blob and avoid damage altogether. And that Ruin of Wrath and Ruin was a desperate attempt to work down the Grail Knights for sure, but probably just did more damage to their own Iron Breakers instead. Thoric is still fighting back hard, but being hit by King Luan from the side, yeah, he is dead. He is surely dead. Unexpectedly, no, not unexpectedly, as expectedly, Royal Hippogriff Knights and the Grail Knights kind of just rolled through the entirety of the Dwarf army. The Peasant Archers were able to just shoot up the Dwarf formations from afar, all thanks to the distraction by the mobility. King Luan did some good damage, and yeah, definitely a rough matchup for the Dwarves. Is there any High Elf replace? I don't think so. High Elf has fallen from grace. Like, Imrik might still be good, but there's just so many good stuff recently in the meta. Ogres, Dark Elves, Bretonnia, and what is the 4th army that is strong? Cathay, perhaps? Yeah, they're just really strong in the meta right now. Yeah, Dwarfs here, we have the... Oh wait, no, Lizardman. Lizardman, yeah, Lizardman is strong. Anyways, Thoric Ironbrow doesn't really do much, and the entirety of the Dwarf army just kind of got wrecked. Ironbreakers held out a little longer than everything else, and killed a lot of peasants, but they're only killing peasants, so not much was done. And the missile SS were mostly compromised over the entire course of battle. Slayers did a lot better, I guess, fighting peasants who doesn't have the stats to punch through their defenses, and fighting large cavalry, just dragging them down in melee combat, did some better damage, but yeah, Lizardmans are pretty good right now. But yeah, rip the Dwarves against Bretonnia. This is one of the matchup of despair. And then we have another army of Dwarves. Strike Games versus John FB. Dwarves versus Ogre Kingdoms this time. Going for a 4 Longbeards, 2 Cannons, 3 Quarrelers, 4 Miners with blasting charges, 1 Single Warrior, 2 Slayers, 2 Thanes, and Thoric Ironbrow. On the other side, Ogre Kingdoms, 5 Nobblers, 4 Dual Weapon Ogre Bulls, and 4 Ogre Bulls, regular variant, and 2 more Nobblers, 1 Stonehorn Hunter and the Snowhorn of Morn, plus a single Slaughter Master. Wait, I feel like this might be a win for the Ogre Kingdoms. Okay, not sure what's happening right now, but okay. Hold on a second. feel like this is a pretty confident win for the ogre. Wait, what? Did I miss anything? Hold up, sorry, give me a second. Okay, shit. Okay, anyways, let's go. So, with the double... Oh, yeah. Okay, the problem with Snowhorn of Mon is that, yeah, you have the missile resistance, but you can't bring Nobbler Thiefstone, so you can still shoot it from afar. I would just bring 2 Stonehorn Hunters and just not bring anything but the Nobbler Thiefstone on their loadout. And probably not so many Ogre Bulls. Maybe I'll bring some Saber Tusk packs. I don't know. Maybe I'll just bring Ogre Bulls actually, but not with dual weapons, but with their Iron Fists. Anyways, Nobblers are moving in from far side. All these Ogre Bulls are just taking heavy damage from the Quarrelers here. It's sitting a little too close to comfort. Where's the Hunter? I swear that... Okay, the Stonehorn Hunter is moving through the forest. And yeah, that... Oh wait, no, you need... Okay, you still need... I would say you still need Ogre Bulls with dual weapons to deal with Slayers. It's a fine choice. But I definitely probably would just bring more shields. Because right now, things are not looking great for the Ogre front line. All these Nobblers are eating heavy charges. And without the Nobblers eating hits from the Longbeards and whatnot, the Ogre Bulls will be having a much rougher time to deal with the Longbeards. Now the Snowhorn of Morn is, while the Snowhorn of Morn is still sitting back, the Hunter has jumped into combat with the Nobbler Thiefstone. Yeah, Nobbler Thiefstone right there. Doing God's work. But the problem is that the Ogre Bulls with dual weapons have been routed quite heavily. Things are not looking great right now. And a lot of these Ogre Bull units are just kind of sitting back, allowing the Stonehorn Hunter to just eat damage overall. Ogre Bulls are moving in, but I feel like John FB is kind of slacking in his micro right now. Strat game, don't doubt the Dowie tactical. I would be confident to use the double Stonehorn against the Dowie, but I feel like John FB is making quite a bit of mistake here. A lot of the Ogre Bulls are kind of just left at the back there, not doing much. And the Nobblers, instead of like distracting firepower from the front, they are just kind of trying to sneak in through the back. Instead of like Ogre Bulls or Saber Tusk would suit this task much better. I guess Nobbler Trappers would trade great into the Slayers with their missiles, but unfortunately the Stonehorn Hunter has been routed. Being like the way to use Stonehorn Hunter isn't to throw them into combat and just leave them there. You should be psycho charging them in between different units, so that it will be constantly on the move and your opponents cannot really get a good hit onto them. Can't get a really good surround. You need to constantly keeping them on the run, just to silence different units of missile units. Like, for example, this Snowhorn of Mon can jump towards the Quarrelers and then jump onto the cannons to silence them. This Hunter needs a healing fast, because if no healing coming in his way, he's gonna... Wait, why is the Master of the Great Maul all the way over here? He should be close enough to the Hunters to keep them healed. Oh, things are not looking great. It hurts me to see ogres. But yeah, probably Saber Tusk would be an even better choice than so many Ogre Bulls. I get Ogre Bulls is like a staple. Okay. But yeah. Okay, so this Snowhorn is getting hit hard by all those single entities surrounding it. Like, if it's constantly just moving, just keep moving, cycle charging, recharging, the impact damage from the charge attacks will be maximized. Now, of course, the advantage of the Dowie artillery over the Cathay artillery is that they have much more solid leadership, so they can actually hold much longer in combat than the Cathay army. So they are just kind of holding right now. But the good thing about fighting against Dowie is that they also don't have any of those cavalry. So your Saber Tusk can actually free to do what they want on the field instead of being countered by Jade Lances or Peasant Horses. But right now, the Snowhorn is fighting. Glacial Defense is activated, providing additional armor and missile resistance. I think just get a Stonehorn Hunter. Just get a Stonehorn Hunter over Stonehorn of Mon is just better. Like, you just avoid all the damage you take from just marching towards the Dowie formation. Now, the ogres are still not completely out of this yet. They can still psycho charge their way to victory. But the Stonehorn of Mon is running low on HP and also their heal caps. Longbeards are on the field, on the side they're being separated from their formations. But wait, what? Nobbler Trappers walking all the way to the white line. Perhaps they might just get routed. A suboptimal charge from the Stonehorn though, not doing that much impact damage on the ogre, on the Longbeards. But right now, this hunter really needs some healing. Come on, like, I know he has high armor and 20% missile resistance, but if he just sits there and take hits from the crossbows, he'll still get eventually worked down. So okay, at least he's moving out, I guess, going after the Longbeard perhaps. With the Nobblers shooting, it should be fine. But the Longbeards are stubborn right now, just kind of staying there, working down the Ogre Bulls and the Snowhorn. Like, yeah, definitely a mistake from John FB for not like psycho charging enough with the Stonehorns. A lot of micro, like, there are a lot of units on the field here, so a lot of micro had to go into the Ogre Bulls, which means the Snowhorns aren't getting microed as properly as they should be, missing a lot of chances to just psycho charge and silence the Dowie missiles, and this is costing the ogres a lot. Now there are still probably some healing available for the ogres right now. They're just trying to sit back and rout off every single isolated Dowie forces, but this is not an easy task because the rest of the dwarves are now consolidating, and they are able to shoot at whatever trappers in sight. Now, hunters once again needs to just charge into the quarrelers and silence them with their charge impact damage. Now, oh, cookie, this is bad. The Slaughtermaster is stuck among a bunch of slayers, and this is a massive mistake. The slayers are not an easy task to deal with for the ogres. Okay, at least they stopped it with a dismember and with the psycho charge from the hunter, and also healing, probably a butcher. They actually managed to recover a lot of their balance of power, but with the Snowhorn being stuck among a bunch of slayers instead of psycho charging, now this is actually psycho chargeable because the hunter is engaging in melee. Like, the Snowhorn should have just moved out and psycho charges this blob, and if you target this one unit Longbeard, and on the far side the Snowhorn of Mon would just charge straight through a bunch of Dowie infantry and just straight up rout them. But as of right now, the Snowhorn is routed, probably not coming back after all the HP losses, and this leaves the hunter unable to cycle charge. And that shall spell the end of the ogre forces. Okay, Snowhorn came back, but it's gonna be routed soon. No, why are you charging into the heroes? You should be charging into the back and work down everything else first, but well. Oh, double thief stone is illegal in fruit rules? Okay, never mind then. My bad. No, don't bring double thief stone. Okay. But yeah, okay, I guess the Snowhorn of Mon is a better alternative then if you can't bring the thief stone. But yeah. For the army builds, performances wise, Slayers are having their time of day. Trade well into pretty much everything other than the Nobblers on the field, doing some really solid damage, earning back twice their worth on one unit, way over 1.5 times of their value on the other. Flames basically just kind of acting as a doom squad for Floric here, providing a solid staying power of 3 single entities, and cannons did solid damage. And Longbeards did some good work overall, just being an absolute solid anchor to hold down and grind down ogre units. And the ogre bulls, lacking the stats to punch through their armor and their melee defense, suffered heavily. Quarrelers does good damage with their okay AP value and a very solid missile strength overall. And the rest of the army just kind of did okay. The miners and dwarf warriors are just kind of there to be there. Ogre Kingdoms, Snowhorn of Morn and Stonehorn Hunter did solid damage. Just hopeful. I would hope they do more cycle charging, but alas, it is what it is, I suppose. But yeah, definitely, probably would have stand a much better chance if the Stonehorns were psycho charging more actively, and while they still have the units to distract the enemy targets and give them room and time to like do the psycho charging. The rest of the army, Nobbler trappers, some of them did well, some of them didn't, and Ogre Bulls suffered heavily. They just don't have the stats to punch through the long beards. And yeah, that's it for today's stream. I hope everyone enjoy it, and I suppose Human Boy Yes Yes is streaming his thing, his tournament now. So go watch his thing. I don't know. Is he streaming? Yeah. Wait, no. Did I mistaken his stream? No, he's definitely streaming today. In 20 minutes. Okay. He's streaming in 20 minutes. So like, yeah, everyone just move over to his channel and watch his thing. I shall end today's stream here. Thank you everyone for watching, and congratulations to Strike Games for winning that tourney. I will see you all in the next video, or yeah, definitely next video. It's coming out on Friday. Yep. I'll see you guys in the next video, and that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Itch, signing out.